It's been interesting. Lately, I've been craving more sleep and also just moving slower, just in general, taking my time, not able to rush, not able to force, not being late, but just not like grinding. And I wonder if it's like connected with the season. It's freezing, it's cold, it's darker sooner. So it's like kind of the body just like retreats into itself and kind of, starts to do its own thing. And I also think I'm much more aware of my body with, you know, how it's feeling, knowing when I'm tired, and just, you know, letting it be instead of just always pushing through. It's been really nice workout wise with the shift. And another thing that I've been doing of late, I have been like purging and auditing literally everything I own. And I like started in my closet, went in my shoe closet, and it's kind of indicative, reflective of like for me, whenever like I approach the new year, it just doesn't matter what season of life I'm in. I always get just very introspective, very reflective. I think about the year, in review in a way, like what I've learned, what I've achieved, what I'm proud of. If there were any moments that, I'm not so proud of, or if that's not the case, if there was anything I could have done better, or look back now and be like, oh, well, that was a waste of time. That was a silly, spend of money. And it's not so much to regret anything or to like be angry with myself. It's really just truly to reflect and then to do better or do different, in the future. Because sometimes we make decisions and in the moment it's amazing, it's great, or it's like whatever. And then, life passes and you're like, was that really the best or the most forward moving choice? Sometimes things are great and fun in the moment, but it doesn't really, move your needle forward. So, and also just me by myself, I'm a very reflective person. So the end of the year becomes I turn everything very inward. So, you know, as I'm doing that, then I start to look around and I want to see like, what am I holding on to? What is my apartment filled with? What's my purse filled with? What do I want to let go and release? And then in these findings, I'll like rediscover like this sweater I purchased definitely within like the last 2 years, and I've definitely maybe worn it once. But tonight I wore it to my holiday party at work and paired it with a dress, something I don't know that I ever would have paired or done before, but I was just feeling it and I'm like, it works. So it's just, another quick little reminder to myself of just, being open, and then also just trying something new and seeing what I already have, and shopping and refreshing in that way instead of just running out and buying something fast. Just going in the closet and doing an audit, pulling everything out. And there were some things that I've been saving for something special for like years, like not a year, not 2 years at this point. So it's like, sweetheart, Kia, if you have not worn it, if you have not taken it out, you're not going to. So either sell it, donate it, or if it's trash, right? Instead of holding on to these things, holding on to old memories, holding on to, a size that you think you might be again, all of the things, just holding on, and it's just really stagnant energy that's not allowing flow and new things to come to us, things that want to come to us but need space to do so. So it's been really fun going through my shoes and looking at the soles and being like, this is worn out. Looking at the sneakers being like, can't work out in these anymore, girl, they're like worn. And editing and not so quickly going out to rebuy and replace, and that's something like in the past, I would just get rid of something and just buy. And it's like, we're indoctrinated at this point, with consumerism and just the fast pace where it's just click, and it ships and it's here, and you're like, we're not thinking, we're just consuming, voraciously, just consuming. And, it's nice to pause and go, okay, I loved these shoes, clearly, they're worn into the ground. I'm gonna let them go. And I'm not gonna run out and replace it immediately. I'm just gonna let it go and let there be space. And maybe on my travels in the coming year, something will speak to me and it will make sense. We don't have to run out and replace just because we've made space, right? And then, I go to my clothes, and some of my clothes, some things I wear all the time, so I keep those. Some things I wear all the time, and they're worn, and I gotta go, you know what? I love this, but now I have to let it go, right? And let it flow out and change it up, spice it up, with chemotherapy and like the treatment, I kind of feel like for, 2 years, I just was like this muted woman, and I wasn't dressing any kind of way. It was just comfort and, at times, hiding and concealing some things, where now it's like, I just want to be in my femme, so it's been, interesting going through the closet and saying, can I fit it? And for many different reasons. I have like muscular arms, so sometimes something looks good, but like functionally it just gets tight around my biceps. So, I have to get rid of it. I have to find it a new home. And if there's a gown, have I worn it? If the answer is no, it's like, okay, what is coming up in the next year that I can wear it to? I had a gown that I had purchased for a friend's wedding. I couldn't wear it to the wedding because the color, it was a conflict of colors. So I wore it to a charity event that I went to, and I'll hold on to it for one more year because I'm manifesting that I'm gonna meet someone and he's gonna take me to some fancy places, and one of those fancy places I will wear this gown. And then after that, I will think about maybe selling the gown, right? Because I don't need to hold on to it, because the universe is abundant and free, and I will always have all that I need. I'm always taken care of, so I can let things go, right? I had some handbags, that I wasn't using. I hadn't carried them in over 2 years, and there could be a number of reasons for it, right? I have a few, so I just didn't rotate, but ultimately I decided I had gotten the wear out of it, and who I was when I got it isn't who I am now, nor who I'm going to be ever again. And, I felt like there was some old energy tied to it. So shipped it off to the real, and I get what I get when I get it, and that's it, right? I don't have to hold on to things and collect things. I just don't. So, it's been great being super intentional about what I keep, and, and then making a point to wear it, right? Now I have a deal with myself. In a year, I have to wear this gown that I have 1 to 2 more times, and then even, so no matter what, whether I do it or don't, after that year, it has to go. It has to find a new home, a new purpose. Maybe it gets donated to a girl to wear to her prom. Actually, that's actually quite a good idea. Actually, so I'm gonna do that. So it's just, it feels good to just give. It's and it feels good to release and not hold on to things, and just trust, and it's just, I always love the new year, even though, well, some people, the Western New Year, which is in January, others, there's a lunar New Year and all the other things that come later. But the point being is, I really love, for myself, being reflective. I love that the world slows down for, like pretty much after, December 8th, 9th, 10th, everyone really starts to slow down, do their thing. And I really just like to sit and think about my year in review. Then I like to think about what I want to bring into the new year, what I don't. If there's any people I don't, or people that I do want to make a point of spending more time and more connection with, how I want to spend my money and how I don't want to spend my money. What's important and what's not important. And, I do a whole financial review where I look at where was most of my spending, and, how much did I spend on Ubers? How much did I spend eating out? And, ironically, a big bill of mine is just groceries, which I think is great, but it's just always being conscious and aware, and for myself, you don't have to do that, just to see, how I'm being, how I'm consuming in the world for me, and making sure that what I value is what I'm truly valuing in my actions, right? Because it's one thing to speak something, and it's another thing in what our actions actually show in what we do, right? So I want to make sure that my spending and my savings is aligned with my goals and moving me forward. I want to make sure that I'm having experiences in the here and now, because that's all that I have. I don't want to be hoarding money, time, or experiences. I want to be living fully. So that, I think that's all I'm gonna share now, and I guess I'll have more time to do more videos in the coming days, and I'll be sure to do that. But I challenge you, start to audit your closet, audit your kitchen, go in all the cabinets, pick a room each day or each week, and by the end of the month, like, get through it all. And it's really fun to rediscover things, and it's even more amazing to like lighten your load and get rid of things, and then also like find new great cool things that you've had the whole time, and you realize how little we truly actually need, and what we already have in much abundance. So have a wonderful day, night, afternoon ahead, wherever you are in the world. Namaste.